method used to make a judgment by analogy, qiyas, using the Quran and Hadith. Give examples to support your answer. 10. Why do you think the Prophet, Pu, encouraged the use of personal reasoning amongst his companions? 4. A. The fourth source of legal thinking. It is employed when all other sources are silent about finding a solution to a new challenging issue. Its literal meaning is, measuring by comparing with some set standard or deduction by analogy or comparison. In Islamic Sharia, it refers to the ability of an individual legal expert to reach a decision by comparing a new situation, with the principles contained in the Quran and Sunnah, asl. Its use has been approved by the Quran and Sunnah. The following verse allows Muslim men to observe justice according to their particular family requirements. Marry women of your choice, 2 or 3 or 4, but if you fear that you shall not be able to deal justly, then only 1, 4:3, Al-Nisa. Now, a man himself will know whether he can do justice or not, by exercising personal reasoning. Similarly, Quran allows Muslims to determine the direction of the sacred mosque while they are away from the holy city. Turn your face in the direction of the sacred mosque. Wherever you are, turn your faces in that direction. 2:144, Al-Baqarah. Now Muslims can use compass or follow the movement of the sun to face the Qibla. There are many examples to show the working out of qiyas. The Quran commands Muslims to offer Friday prayer by full devotion, O you who believe. When the call is proclaimed to prayer on Friday, hasten to the remembrance of God and leave off business. 62:9, Al-Jumu'ah. This verse asl does not mention non-business transactions including family matters and studies. However, the illa similarity is the fact that whether a believer is busy in a business or non-business transaction, he will miss this important congregational prayer. In view of this illa, all transactions should be postponed and this hukm verdict is valid for all times. The Quran asl prohibits use of khamr wine, O you who believe. Intoxicants and gambling are abomination of Satan's handiwork, shun them so that you may prosper. 5 hours 90 minutes, Al-Ma'idah. The Prophet had already declared, every intoxicant is khamr, and khamr is haram. Later, many new drugs became popular about which the legal experts had to decide. They include heroin, marijuana chars, cocaine, cannabis bang etc. All these have potential to intoxicate, illa, and so they too are forbidden, hukm. There are many examples of the Prophet's permission to use qiyas in legal thinking. Hazrat Ali was the scribe of the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. The treaty stated the name of the Prophet as Muhammad, the Messenger of God. The pagan chief from Makkah asked to replace the wording Messenger of God with son of Abdullah, Prophet's family name. When the Prophet asked Hazrat Ali to do so, he respectfully refused by saying that he did not have the courage to erase the wording Messenger of God. The Prophet did not object to Hazrat Ali's refusal as he had identified the nobility and wisdom of his refusal. Thus, by way of Hazrat Ali, the Prophet allowed his followers to exercise their opinions in such cases. There are events from the Prophet's life that provide guidance about using qiyas. The Prophet demonstrated complete method of wudu in which all washing acts need to be thorough and complete. Once the Prophet noticed some particles of dried flour on the nails of Hazrat Aisha after she had performed wudu. The Prophet reminded her to perform wudu again after removing the dried flour from her nails. In the light of this asl, the far of nail polishes will be resolved by removing nail polish before doing wudu. His companions resolved many new problems about which the primary sources are silent. The Prophet had prescribed the punishment of 40 lashes for the crime of drinking asl. Hazrat Umar sought Hazrat Ali's opinion in this regard in view of growing cases of drinking far. Hazrat Ali said, "We think that you flog him 80 times because when he drinks, he becomes intoxicated, and in that state he talks confusedly, and when he talks confusedly, he lies." Based his suggestion by finding the illa of committing slander, falsely accusing of an innocent woman of adultery, by a drunken person, and for that the Quranic punishment is 80 lashes. Hazrat Abu Bakr's election is another example of qiyas. The Prophet had appointed him as leader of daily prayer during the last days of his life, asl. After the Prophet's demise, the question arose about his successorship, far. Majority of companions found the illah of Hazrat Abu Bakr's eligibility to lead the Muslim community, in the mosque or in general, and thus he was elected as the first caliph. B. The crossings are best explained by the Sunnah Ahadith. The Prophet knew that after his demise there would be new issues facing his followers in the coming ages. He, therefore, trained his companions for this. The Quran itself instructs Muslims to ponder and reflect upon various phenomena in several verses. Those who listen to what is said and follow the best of it, they are the ones rightly guided by God, and these are truly the people of reason. 39:18, Al-Zumar. The Prophet allowed Hazrat Muadh bin Jabal to cope with new challenges with his own wisdom while guiding the people of Yemen, hundreds of miles from Medina. Thus his companions would become a source of guidance for legal experts of coming generations. The Prophet thus set examples of use of reasoning for his companions, who in turn became a source of guidance for the future legal experts. A. Give an account of the administration of the caliphate under Uthman. 10. B. In your opinion, what was Uthman's greatest achievement as caliph? Uthman improved upon the administrative system built by Caliph Umar. He began to tighten the central government's control over the affairs of the garrison cities' military districts. He continued Caliph Umar's policy of division of the empire and appointment of the governors. The Majlis-i-Shura remained the main advisory council to make important decisions. He had to split up the authority of the provincial governors as their number increased due to the expansion of the Muslim Empire. He also reformed the police department due to a tremendous increase in population. He introduced the tradition of inspecting the state accounts, salary rolls of the Diwan, and ensured the flow of surplus revenue from provincial governments to the central treasury in Medina. A new post of financial administrators was created who were responsible only for revenue collection. Along with this, the Secretariat of Finance was also created. With the availability of plenty of funds, the Caliph initiated several public welfare schemes. Many embankments were built to protect the houses in Medina, and a dam was Hazrat Uthman. The availability. First International Port. He also renovated Masjid. He also renovated Masjid-i-Quba. As the size of the Muslim Empire increased tremendously, new provinces were created and size of the previous provinces was enlarged. The Caliph changed the policy of the previous two caliphs towards the provincial governors. He lifted the ban on the sale of lands and the purchase of agricultural lands in the conquered territories. Caliph Umar, R.A., had put a ban on such sale and purchase. Hazrat Uthman, R.A., also permitted people to draw loans from the public treasury Bayt al-Mal. He also allowed his governors to amass funds so that they could spend them on the public welfare projects in their provinces. Hazrat Umar had been strict towards the Muhajirin, and kept a check on their movement and acquisition of lands. Hazrat Uthman lifted such restrictions on them. They were granted freedom to move in the conquered territories. Hazrat Uthman is credited with the introduction of naval force in the history of Islam. Hazrat Muawiyah, Amr bin al-As, Abu Qais, and Abdullah bin Abi Sarah were among the first naval commanders who inflicted defeats on the Roman naval force in the Mediterranean Sea. B. Hazrat's greatest achievement was the development of a regular naval force. The Muslim navy during his caliphate played a key role in defending the expanding Muslim empire. Without a navy, the Arabian Peninsula and the neighboring territories conquered during the caliphate of Hazrat Abu Bakr and Hazrat Umar were vulnerable to a possible and powerful naval attack by the Romans. Thus all the conquered areas were safeguarded for centuries. The earliest naval commanders, Hazrat Muawiyah, Abu Qais, and Ibn Abi Sarah, inflicted decisive defeats on the Roman forces and captured strategic islands of Cyprus, Crete, Rhodes, and some parts of Sicily. Due to these victories, in future Islam would be introduced to many parts of southern Europe. Muslim rule over Spain was also founded by a commander who, like Hazrat Uthman, belonged to Banu Umayyah. 4a. Write a descriptive account of the Battle of Siffin and the arbitration that followed it. 10b. What in your opinion was the most serious outcome of the arbitration? Give reasons to support your answer. 4. A. After winning the Battle of the Camel, Hazrat Ali decided to deal with Muawiyah. In May 657 AD Muharram 37 AH, he raised an army of around 80,000 troops in Kufa that he had made the new capital. He marched towards Damascus with his army against Muawiyah's army of 120,000. The two armies camped against each other in the plain of Siffin, near the Euphrates. Many weeks were spent in attempting to reach a peaceful settlement, but in vain. Hazrat Ali offered Muawiyah to settle the dispute through single combat instead of involving thousands of innocent Muslims in the possible fight, but Muawiyah refused. After failed negotiations in the sacred month of Muharram, fierce fighting erupted in July 657 8th. 7 AH. Hazrat Ali led his army from the center, surrounded by his troops from Medina. The troops from Kufa formed one wing while those from Basra, the other wing. A full-scale war continued for 3 days and nights. On the morning of fourth day there were huge losses on both sides. However, soon, Hazrat Ali's army began to dominate. Seeing this, Muawiyah's soldiers tied the pages of the Quran at the heads of their lances. They cried, "Let the word of God decide between us and you. Who will defend the border towns of Syria if we are slain, and who will protect the people of Iraq if you are gone? Let the book of God judge between you and us." Despite Hazrat Ali's command to his army to continue, as he knew it was only a trick of Muawiyah. Finally, the two armies agreed to set up a court of arbitration, which was scheduled to meet in February 658 AD. Hazrat Ali was forced to choose Hazrat Abu Musa Ash'ari against his will. He argued that Abu Musa was neutral and was not among his supporters. Therefore, he wanted Ibn Abbas to be his arbitrator, but seeing the pressure by his troops he gave in, and accepted Abu Musa as his arbitrator. Muawiyah nominated Hazrat Amr bin al-As, an astute commander, a heroic figure and a respected governor, as his arbitrator. More importantly, he was a staunch supporter of Muawiyah. Details of the arbitration were cleverly drafted by Hazrat Amr bin al-As 2 days after the Battle of Siffin, and according to it both parties agreed to bind themselves by God's word. This proved a disaster for Hazrat Ali, as his troops had to return instead of fighting against the defiant Syrian governor, Muawiyah. They had come to Siffin under the commander of the faithful, the Caliph, who they thought was fighting for a righteous cause. However, the unexpected truce greatly disappointed them, as now they were considered as a faction in a civil war. The radical supporters of Hazrat Ali from Kufa left his army and joined like-minded troops from Basra. These troops came to be known as Kharijites. Despite all this, Hazrat Abu Musa Ash'ari and Amr bin al-As met in January 658 AD at Dormatu el-Jandal, located between Kufa and Damascus, as arbitrators of Hazrat Ali and Muawiyah respectively. Between the two arbitrators that both Hazrat Ali and Hazrat Muawiyah should be deposed. Hazrat Abu Musa accordingly announced that he and Hazrat Amr bin al-As agreed that both the Caliph and Muawiyah should step down. However, Hazrat Amr unfortunately tempered with the stance and said that Hazrat Ali should leave the seat of caliphate, but Muawiyah should retain his post as the governor. Thus the arbitration compounded the situation instead of reaching a solution. This development further angered the Kharijites, whom Hazrat Ali had pacified with much effort. They parted their ways with the Caliph and established themselves as a distinct community at Nawan. B. Gradually weakening position of Hazrat Ali as Caliph was the most serious outcome of the arbitration. He not only lost the support of many troops from his capital Kufa and Basra, but also incurred their fierce opposition. They organized themselves as a separate community with fanatic views at Nawan. Thus, Hazrat Ali had to face two fronts of opposition, Hazrat Muawiyah and the Kharijites. Remaining years of his caliphate, therefore, could not see any expansion of the mighty Muslim empire. Instead, his control over various provinces was gradually lost. With the loss of Egypt to Muawiyah, the caliph also lost his favorite stepson Hazrat Muhammad bin Abu Bakr. Finally, the machination of Muawiyah coupled with the growing opposition by the Kharijites led to the tragic martyrdom of Hazrat Ali. With that, the Muslim world got permanently divided into two major religious sects. 5a. Write about the rituals that take place on the first 3 days of the annual pilgrimage, Hajj. 10. B. In your opinion, should Hajj be performed as many times as possible in a Muslim's life? Give reasons for your answer. 4. A. There is of Hajj, but most of the rituals are complete during the first 3 days, 8th, 9th and 10th of Dhu al-Hajj. Pilgrims make intention for Hajj and adopt ihram to become muhrim on 8th Dhu al-Hajj or earlier before reaching the miqat, the prescribed boundary around the Haram of Makkah. A muhrim should start reciting talbiyah loudly immediately after putting on ihram. Once they reach the sacred mosque, they perform tawaf-i-qudum of the Kaaba. It is a sunnah maznun type of tawaf. After the tawaf, the sa'i is performed. It comprises 7 walks between Safa and Marwa hills in commemoration of Hazrat Hajia Hajara's running between the 2 hills in search of water for her thirsty son, Hazrat Ismail. If sa'i is not performed on 8th, it may be performed after tawaf-i-ziyarah on 10th, 11th or 12th Dhu al-Hajj. Pilgrims then go to Mina where they offer Zuhr, Asr, Maghrib and Isha of 8th Hajj. They shorten their Zuhr, Asr and Isha prayers without combining them. On 9th Dhu al-Hajj, they reach Arafat, the plain just beyond the miqat. They observe the wukuf or stay there from Zuhr till Maghrib. This is the most important observance of Hajj, as the Prophet declared, Hajj means staying at Arafat. If this farz act is missed, the whole Hajj gets void. Pilgrims beg mercy of God and forgiveness of their sins in the humblest possible way. They listen to the sermon delivered by the Imam that reminds them of the Prophet's farewell sermon he delivered from the Mount of Mercy in the same plain in 10 They perform Zuhrain by shortening Zuhr and Asr prayer and combining them. They leave Arafat at Maghrib for Muzdalifah, a plain between Mina and Arafat. Here they offer Maghribain, combining Maghrib with Isha prayer, and shortening Isha by half. They spend the night between 9th and 10th of Dhu al-Hajj in the plain of Muzdalifah. They collect 49 or more pebbles for Rummi, and leave for Mina after Fajr prayer of 10th Dhu al-Hajj. This is the busiest day for the pilgrims, and is called the day of Eid al-Adha, and also called Yawm al-Udiyah or Yawm al-Nahr, day of sacrifice. Pilgrims are exempt from any Eid prayer that is offered in the rest of the Muslim world. In Mina, first they observe the ritual of Rummi by pelting the grand pillar of Satan, Jamara-i-Akbar, with 7 pebbles one by one. The ritual is started by reciting this invocation, Bismillah Allahu Akbar. Rummi is done in commemoration of Prophet Ibrahim's rejection of devil who had tried to keep him from obeying the command of God. After Rummi, the pilgrims stop reciting talbiyah. Those performing Hajj Ifrad get their heads shaven halak or hair shortened qaza, as sacrifice is not obligatory for them. The next ritual is sacrifice. Pilgrims performing Hajj Tamatu and Hajj Qiran are required to sacrifice a sacrificial animal, cow, goat, sheep or camel. This observance reminds the pilgrims of the spirit of sacrifice demonstrated by Hazrat Ibrahim. He was about to sacrifice his son, Hazrat Ismail, following the divine command when God miraculously replaced Hazrat Ismail by a lamb. After performing sacrifice, most of the restrictions of ihram are relaxed except for intimate husband-wife relations. The Karin and Mutamati pilgrims abandon ihram and are required to do halak, shaving head, or qaza, shortening hair. Men prefer halak, but they are allowed qaza, too, though it has a lesser reward. Women are required to shorten their hair by a little length. Then they proceed to Makkah to perform the last obligatory farz act of Hajj, Tawaf-i-Ziyarah or Tawaf-i-Ifada, by circling around the Kaaba 7 times. Finally, they perform Sa'i Sa'i by making a walk between the Safa and Marwa hills 7 times. If they cannot perform Tawaf and Sa'i on 10th, they may do the same either on 11th or 12th Dhul al-Hajj. It should be remembered that Sa'i is performed during Hajj only once, either after Tawaf-i-Qudum on 8th or after Tawaf-i-Ziyarah on 10th, or 11th or 12th, Dhul al-Hajj. On 11th Dhul al-Hajj, Rumi of Jamara al-Asura, located near the Kaif Mosque, Worcester and Aqaba Kubra, is performed once. After Rumi they raise hands to do Du'a. Rumi of the 3 Jamarat is repeated on 12th in the same order, but Du'a is made after Rumi of first 2 Jamarat. No Du'a is needed after Rumi of Jamara Aqaba, and pilgrims quickly leave the place. B. Hajj is a pillar of Islam, but it is different from the other 4 pillars as it has been made obligatory once in a Muslim's lifetime. The Prophet performed Hajj once only in 10 AH. Thus a Muslim should follow this sunnah of the Prophet with the intention of giving a chance to the fellow Muslims to perform Hajj. Such a Muslim may earn a reward of ceaseless charity Sadaqah Jariyah by sponsoring the poor Muslims to fulfill this obligation who with frustration keep waiting all their life to visit the holy places. In this case, the pilgrim will keep invoking God's mercy for the one who bore all expenses. Well-off Muslims may spend the Hajj money for helping the poor and those afflicted by natural calamities such as the COVID-19 pandemic. God may grant much greater reward in return for this.